In the quaint, fog-shrouded town of Eldridge Hollow, the air was crisp with the scent of autumn leaves. This year, the townsfolk were particularly abuzz about the annual Thanksgiving festival, a tradition cherished for its communal feast and merriment. But beneath the surface, an unsettling feeling lingered, born from whispered tales of a peculiar local legend. The legend spoke of a spectral turkey, a creature said to appear every few decades, right before Thanksgiving. Described with feathers as dark as the night and eyes glowing with a sinister red hue, it was rumored to seek vengeance against those who had forgotten the true spirit of the holiday. As the festival preparations reached their peak, strange occurrences began to unsettle the townspeople. Unseen whispers echoed through the streets at night, and shadows seemed to move with a mind of their own. The older residents exchanged knowing glances, their minds recalling the old tales with a newfound sense of dread. Meanwhile, a group of teenagers, skeptical and daring, decided to investigate the legend. Led by Jasper, a bold and curious young man, they ventured into the woods surrounding the town, hoping to unveil the truth behind the eerie happenings. Their search led them to an ancient clearing, where the air felt unnaturally cold. In the center stood an old, twisted tree, its branches bare and reaching towards the sky like gnarled fingers. It was here that the whispers grew louder, hinting at the lurking presence of something unnatural, something waiting in the shadows. As night fell over Eldridge Hollow, the town's festive lights flickered eerily, casting long, dancing shadows. The teenagers, huddled together, watched the woods with a mix of fear and fascination. Jasper, trying to mask his own apprehension, joked about the absurdity of a vengeful turkey legend. Back in the town, preparations for the festival continued, but the air was tinged with an unspoken unease. Elders recounted tales of the last appearance of the spectral turkey, speaking of unexplainable events and a sense of impending doom that had engulfed the town. Suddenly, a chilling gobbler was heard, slicing through the night stillness. The teenagers froze, their hearts racing. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, echoing through the trees, an ominous warning of the legend come to life. In the heart of the town, the mayor, oblivious to the happenings in the woods, proudly announced the start of the feast. As he spoke, a shadow passed over the moon, and the wind carried a strange, almost mournful cry, barely audible over the sound of the gathering. The townspeople momentarily paused, glancing around nervously. The older residents exchanged worried looks, their old fears rekindled. The legend, it seemed, was no longer just a story to scare children. It was becoming a dark reality in Eldridge Hollow. In the dense woods, the teenagers' bravado dissolved into panic. The gobbler, unnaturally loud and sinister, seemed to be moving closer. Jasper urged the group to head back, but their path was obscured by a thick, ghostly mist that had suddenly enveloped the forest. As they stumbled through the mist, a figure emerged, silhouetted against the moonlight. It was the spectral turkey, its plumage a dark, ominous shadow, and its eyes burning with a vengeful fire. The teenagers stood frozen, disbelieving the apparition before them. Meanwhile, in Eldridge Hollow, the festival was in full swing. Laughter and music filled the air, but the joy was fragile. The strange occurrences in the woods had not gone unnoticed, and whispers of the legend were spreading among the crowd, casting a pall over the festivities. The spectral turkey, facing the teenagers, let out a haunting gobbler that reverberated through the forest. The sound was not just a call. It was a cry of anger and pain, a reminder of a forgotten pact, and a warning to those who dared to ignore the spirit of the holiday. Jasper, recovering from his shock, realized they needed to warn the townspeople. They rushed back towards the town, the turkey's eerie cries echoing behind them, a harrowing reminder of the consequences of neglecting the true meaning of Thanksgiving. The teenagers, breathless and wide-eyed, burst into the festival grounds, their warnings about the spectral turkey spilling out in frantic, disjointed sentences. The townspeople's laughter turned to confusion, then to fear as the gravity of the situation dawned on them. Jasper, taking charge, explained the encounter in the woods and implored the townsfolk to remember the true spirit of Thanksgiving, not just feasting, but gratitude and togetherness. He spoke of the legend, not as a tale of horror, but as a forgotten promise to uphold these values. The mayor, skeptical at first, noticed the genuine fear and urgency in the teenagers' eyes. He called for calm and suggested that they all take a moment to reflect on what Thanksgiving truly meant to them, in an attempt to appease the angered spirit. As the townspeople gathered in a solemn circle, holding hands, a sense of unity began to replace the fear. They shared stories of thankfulness, of hardships overcome, and of community bonds. The atmosphere transformed from one of terror to one of genuine warmth and fellowship. In the woods, the spectral turkey watched from a distance. Its fiery eyes dimmed, and the menacing aura surrounding it began to dissipate. The creature, sensing the change in the hearts of the townspeople, let out a soft, almost melancholic gobbler before vanishing into the night. As dawn broke over Eldridge Hollow, a sense of peace enveloped the town. The night's events seemed almost dreamlike, but the newfound sense of community was palpable. The spectral turkey, now just a whisper of a legend, had left a lasting impact. Jasper and his friends, now seen as the unlikely heroes of the festival, recounted their experience with a newfound respect for the town's traditions and legends. The encounter in the woods had changed them, instilling a deeper appreciation for the true meaning of Thanksgiving. The mayor, inspired by the night's events, declared that from then on, the festival would include a moment of reflection and gratitude, honoring the spirit of Thanksgiving and the lesson taught by the spectral turkey. As the town returned to normal, people shared smiles and kind words, their bonds strengthened by the strange ordeal. The legend of the spectral turkey was no longer a tale of terror, but a reminder of the importance of unity and thankfulness. Eldridge Hollow, once just another town with a quaint festival, had transformed into a community with a deep, heartfelt connection to its traditions. And in the woods, where the legend had come to life, a gentle breeze whispered through the trees, as if carrying the spirit of Thanksgiving itself.